Three, two, one. Broadcasting tape delayed from Adam Silverspoon's driveway, where he's counting the money, baby. Sports Economy Show is on. I'm Bill. This is JP. We're here to pump you up and try to steal some Adam Silverspoon's money to bring to you. Today's show is about the NBA, the regular season ratings versus the playoff ratings, which are two complete different things.
Completely.
So, yes. You know what I'm happy about, JP?
Yeah.
That we don't talk about football all the time.
We could. You know,
we
if
could.
you listen to the ESPN guys, that's all that matters. It's football. You know, like they talk about NBA because they have to, they're contractually obligated to, but you know, the football schedule's coming out this week.
That's right.
So
mini
they're
camps
already
are going
excited
on.
about it. They're already excited about it.
Yeah. Mini camps are going on, is that right?
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Sure.
It means everything in the world.
That's it. It's all that matters. You know. And at the end of July, when everybody starts showing up at camp, you know, that's all that's going to matter, Bill. That's all that's going to matter. You know.
Well, anyway, let's move on from that.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of things to read about the NBA regular season. And I'll get your thoughts on it and see if you got anything to say about, you know, some of this stuff. But what we're talking about is the ratings for the NBA.
Yep.
Because at the beginning of the season for the NBA, was it November? Yeah. They didn't start out well. And then we had the Emirates Cup, which sent them to the roof, right?
Oh, boy. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know who won the Emirates? You know who won the Emirates Cup? I don't either. Don't worry about it.
Lakers won last year, right?
Yes. They won last year. All that matters.
I didn't even realize it was the actual term.
Yeah. It's like a round robin and not everybody's in.
Yeah.
All right.
I had no idea. I really
I don't know. I have no idea. I think in Indiana maybe won. Who knows? Whatever. All right. So the 2024-2025 NBA regular season ended with the national television networks TNT, ESPN, and ABC averaging 1.53 million viewers a year, which is a fall off of 2% from last year where they averaged 1.56 million viewers. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Do what?
That's not bad.
No, I mean, so it didn't grow, but it didn't lose a lot. Mm-hmm. So it says, although the viewing ratings for the regular season games have been fairly consistent in recent years, the viewing was the lowest since the pandemic year of 2020-2021, when the average audience was 1.39 million. So according to this article I found, that ratings are declining. They're not going up. Hence the reason they're throwing in this Emirates Cup as a gimmick to get people to watch.
Well, my personal opinion, the Emirates Cup is designed for people to watch during football season. You know, because you know, I am not one of these people, but a lot of people don't start watching the NBA until Christmas Day. You know,
Well, I got something to ask you about that in just a second. Your opinion.
But I mean, you know, so this Emirates Cup, they throw out something different. You know, I've watched some of the Emirates Cup, but I still couldn't really tell you exactly what it is. I mean, okay, so you win the Emirates Cup. So the hell what? You know, what do you win? You get a cookie? You know, I mean,
they get a trophy, man. They get a trophy and they get to hang a banner.
I'm gonna tell you right now. You hang a banner for the Emirates Cup. You know what? I need to check on that. Did the Lakers hang a banner? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if they hung a banner, Kobe Bryant is rolling over in his grave.
I'm gonna look that up now.
You look it up on your fancy phone.
I'm looking on my fancy phone.
Okay. I'm telling you right now, if they hung a banner, Kobe Bryant has passed twice. he He is not. He would not tolerate
Lakers.
that.
He's like,
I tell you, right? I mean, the Emirates Cup is like, okay, so you won the Emirates
there it is.
Cup.
There it is.
Did
From
they?
AI, artificial intelligence says the Los Angeles Lakers hung a banner commemorating their victory in the inaugural NBA season
my goodness.
tournament.
What in the world? You know?
What in the world?
That's the equivalent of all the work and all the championships the Lakers have. That's the equivalent of like somebody marrying somebody rich. And they got a little, secretary job, or they're working, they got a little gardening job. And then the person that they're married to is making, multi-million-dollar. So they're like, you know what? I got paid the other day. It's like, oh, well, good. Why don't you just throw your little, $2,000 and just throw it over there? And, that's our spending money. That's our spending money for the day. What you made in 2 weeks is our spending money. Congratulations. It's the same thing. It doesn't mean the same thing. Yeah, okay, so you won, but it ain't a championship like everything else.
I have the perfect analogy. For it. The University of North Carolina hanging a banner for making the NIT.
That's right.
You were just making the NIT, not winning it, making the NIT.
Even winning the NIT. This ain't 1945. This ain't 1945. We're in 2025. You go to the NIT, you win it, and you're Carolina, and you hang that banner? No. If you've never won anything, okay. If you've never won, if you're the Sacramento Kings and you win the Emirates Cup, you hang that banner. You hang it with pride because you've never won anything. But if you're the Lakers or the Celtics or the Bulls, you don't hang that banner up. I don't care.
You don't hang that banner. Would Phil Jackson let that happen?
No. Honestly, I'm surprised Magic and them did let that happen. Magic should have went to Jeannie Buss and be like, hey, Jeannie,
I tell you what, I'm going to try to get an interview with Magic.
Okay.
I'm going to say, Magic, did you know about this Emirates Cup banner? He'll look at you like, you better shut up. Don't talk about that. Wasn't my idea. They forced it on me.
All right. So that was my whole thing about the Emirates Cup. It's just something to create some kind of hype.
It's a gimmick to try to get the ratings going in November because they're struggling.
Right. You mean
so the NBA is regular season's consistent. Okay, we'll go with that. So want to hear your opinion of how much better the playoffs are than the regular season.
Well, the playoff ratings are really high. I just dropped my notes, but I'm pretty sure that this is correct. It's like 3.7 million is the average for the playoff first round. So we're not even talking about, we're not even talking about, the championship round. We're talking about first round on average. It's like 3.7 million, right? So, I mean, you're talking about it's more than double, but there are a lot of factors. I mean, one, the NBA is a lot like Major League Baseball, right? You kind of just get used to it in the regular season. You kind of get used to it's just on TV because it's on TV all the time.
It's not appointment viewing.
No, it's not. That's the biggest difference between the NFL and the other two major sports. Is the NFL once a week. People look forward to the game as the week goes on, and then it happens, and they watch, and then majority of the time the game is a letdown. But because everybody anticipated the game, they really get good ratings, right? Whereas basketball, if you miss a game on a Tuesday night, in the regular season, you're like, oh man, it was disappointing. That was a good game. I'm disappointed I missed it, But hey, there'll be another game on in 2 nights, So
But,
it's just not the same. And I mean, there's a lot of factors why you would say it's going to be higher ratings than NBA. I mean, the matchups are better. It depends on the cities and the franchises. If you have
they need rivalries.
That's right. If you have franchises that were successful, like, okay, the Knicks. The Knicks have won some championships, to a lot of people.
Before I was born.
Huh?
Before I was born.
Yeah, it was in the early 70s. My uncles were like, yeah, the Knicks. I was like, well, you know what? I tell you what, I don't remember seeing the Knicks win a championship. Yeah, they did win one during my lifetime, but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I've seen video, but or film, but but they are a franchise where their fans just love them. They support them. There's nothing like watching, a game in Madison Square Garden when there's actually something on the line. So you have those franchises like that. Those people were going to show up in big, big numbers. The Lakers, I'm a Lakers fan. I could tell you from the tip of the first round, the Lakers weren't going to win that series. But they got big ratings because they're the Lakers, So, but if you really watch the playoffs this season, a lot of the teams that are good are teams that have not been good in years past. They've been good in the last couple of years, with Minnesota and OKC and, it's just a lot of teams that you just like, oh, okay, Denver, it's been good in the last few years. But, I mean, come on, before 2020, nobody even, people.
Nobody even knew Denver had a franchise.
Huh?
Nobody knew Denver had a franchise.
Right. When you said Denver,
I thought they were Utah.
Right. I mean, so, everybody has their time, but, most of those teams, they have a run for a few years and then they go away, But, I mean, there's a lot of other factors like, the star players. Like if you're what's do you watch the NBA at all?
No.
You're a college basketball.
See, well, first of all, I don't have cable.
Right.
And if you don't have cable, you don't see it because the NBA has decided we're only going to put this on cable. ABC has games, but it's real scarce when they have them.
Right.
So the NBA has decided we're only going to sell it as pay-per-view, which is what cable TV is.
Right. And okay, you have regular TV. So when those games come on, what are the chances that the Utah Jazz are going to be on it?
No. They're only going to show rivalries. They're only going to show Boston, New York, Lakers, Golden State, stuff like that.
Right. Philadelphia.
That's all you're ever going to see.
Right. You're not going to see the Brooklyn Nets. You're not going to see Phoenix Suns. You're not going to see any of those teams that, hey, they may even have a good team, but they ain't going to be on ABC. They're just not. It's all about the LA LeBrons and, the Golden State Warriors, and unfortunately, that's what the NBA has always been about.
Well, there's also an issue too, is more and more people get rid of cable. Their ratings are going down because the games aren't available to people who don't feel like paying this cable bill.
Right. I mean, and so a majority of the games for the NBA come on cable, TNT,
ESPN, TNT.
Right. So it'll be interesting.
But next
TNT will not be involved. So it'll be NBC. So you'll have more opportunity to watch games next year.
Next year they're going to be on NBC, ABC, ESPN, and Amazon.
And the Amazon. And you have the Amazon Prime? You watch stuff on Amazon Prime?
No.
You are hey, if I got to pay for it, you better be damn good.
Look, this is why I'm trying to make a gazillion dollars on this YouTube channel, so I can afford TV coming out my ears. Anyway, back to the playoffs.
Yeah.
The NBA playoffs are good and being watched. Why? Because they're the playoffs. The players show up. There's no load management in the playoffs, is there?
No.
No.
But you know what I did hear today? I heard somebody say they were talking about Jokic, the best player, one of the best players in the NBA, plays for Denver. And they were like, well, Jokic looks tired. I mean, they only had one day off in between the games. And then, I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, back in the day, they used to play games back to back and then fly it to the next coast the next day. It's like, so now are they saying they need more than one day to recuperate from one game? Is that what they're saying? Because to me, I'm like, the load management, eventually you got to get to a point where there's a reason why you're getting paid millions of dollars. If you can't play but every 3 days, I mean, what are we gonna get? Like, you're gonna be like pitchers now?
Yeah, just like pitchers.
Have 4 days before you can play again.
This is why nobody really cares about the regular season, because everybody's taking all these games off, and all these guys are doing is preparing themselves or resting themselves for the playoffs. So that's when everybody starts watching.
I mean, even college players. College players play every 3 days, and they still go to class.
Yeah. I think that's over now. But
what?
In college basketball, they play 2 games a week.
That's it.
Yeah, it's 2 games a week. Usually, it's either Tuesday or Wednesday, and then Saturday or Sunday. Yeah.
All right, I'm glad you educated me on that, because I thought they played more than that.
No, that's it. All right. So anyway, I got another question here.
Yeah.
So the NBA, and I heard this last year, boy, they were throwing some fits.
Yeah.
Your LA LeBron was right up front with this too. The NBA feels that they compete with the NFL on Christmas Day, right? Hey, they feel that Christmas Day is their deal, right?
That's what they say.
Yeah. But do they put out a better product than the NFL does on a regular basis?
Okay. All right. Okay. First of all, the NBA. So last year, the NFL had 2 games on Christmas. I think 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
All of the games were dogs. Like, and there were games that were supposed to be good rivalries. For example, I'm a Steelers fan. The first game on Christmas, like at noon, was the
Kansas City Steelers.
Right. And I can tell you right now, I knew Kansas City was going to kill Pittsburgh, right? But it's a good rivalry. Supposed to be 2 good teams.
I wouldn't say it's a rivalry, but it's 2 good teams.
Yeah. 2 good teams, supposed to be, right? Record-wise, they were, right? I think Pittsburgh had a better record than Kansas City coming in that game. But everybody knew Pittsburgh not winning that game. And from the get-go, Patrick Mahomes had 2 touchdowns before I could even get rid of everybody so I could watch the damn game. I was like, Steelers are playing. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this gift opening process up, because I need to watch the game. I log in 15 minutes on the Netflix, and the damn Steelers are behind 14-0. So I'm like, well, this is going to be a waste. And you know what? It's Christmas. So I guess I can find something else to do for a little while. And that's what happened. But normally the NBA gets what the NFL allows them to get. If they don't have a game, it's the NBA's day. But if the NFL has a game and it's good, NBA doesn't have a chance.
Well, the NBA runs, was it 5 games now?
They run games all day on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
It is their day. There are a lot of people who watch.
Yeah.
But is it bigger than the NFL? No.
No. But the thing about it is, do players in the NFL take loads management games off? Because they're hurt all the time.
All
Those
the
players
time.
are hurt all the time.
Right. You know what load management is in the NFL? That is
taking off
you're
a play.
Not good enough. You're not good enough. So sit your ass on the bench and load manage. Otherwise, you're playing. You know, there's
because a football game is 10 times harder on your body than playing a month in the NBA.
Yeah.
One game in the NFL is 10 times harder on your body than a full month in the NBA.
I will probably say so. I can't imagine. I mean, if you think about it, most of the NBA players grew up playing basketball every day, right?
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden you get in the NBA and you're getting the best medical, attention, and you can pretty much do everything you possibly can to get you ready to play the games, and you can't play with 1 day's rest. You know, not playing, like occasionally they have to play back to backs. So when we were growing up, the NBA played back to back games all the time in the regular season. Now, because of the players complaining, it's very rare. It's only as a necessity for the schedule, right? So most teams don't have back-to-back games. And so, like on a regular, and they have very few. Whereas to me, okay, back-to-back games may be tough, especially if you have to travel. But if you have a day in between, if you can't play that game, then there's something wrong. And then
if your travel is from Milwaukee to Chicago, okay,
right. But I mean, if you're staying in the same place, like in the playoffs, so they played one game in Denver, and then they played the next game in Denver, and Jokic was tired, and they're like, he just looks exhausted because he only had a day and a half to rest. It was like, isn't he a pro athlete? Is he not? Is he hurt? And okay, if he's hurt, then okay, the day and a half. But there's no injury, status on him, so he should be good, right?
Yeah.
I just feel like they've gotten to the point where they've gotten spoiled, and this load management's gone a little bit too far.
Well, this stuff right here is what's hurting their regular season ratings. But when they get to the playoffs, they play, and it's a really good game. So eventually they're going to have to realize, we can't. Well, of course, they're making a bunch more money next year, so they don't even care. It won't even change.
Well, let me ask you a question, since you're the big college guy.
Yeah.
So the NBA, of course, has had an influx of foreign players, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, like when we were coming up, we knew the players going in the NBA that were stars because college, we saw Jordan and Ewing and Worthy and we saw these guys in college, and then when they got to the pros, it was just like, oh, I got to keep following this guy, right?
Yeah.
But now when you have the draft, half of the time when I look at the draft, I don't know a third of the guys that were drafted.
Well, for two straight years, the number one draft pick was from France.
Right. Like France is the basketball mecca, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you think of basketball, you think of France.
Yeah.
So, but do you feel like it's hurting them with the foreign play?
It's hurting them because people don't know who these guys are. And most fans are casual fans. So they want to tune in and see people, hey, I've heard of this guy when he played college. Or this or that. But they're like, this guy's from Poland? What?
Right. It's like, you got to prove it to me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel the same. I feel the same way. I feel like it's hard to develop the face of the league if you're face of the league is somebody that nobody knew until he was actually playing in the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you kind of have to have somebody who has built some kind of, okay, if Cooper Flag actually goes to the NBA and balls out in his first year, okay,
it will help the NBA.
That's what you need. You need somebody that people were following in college and then gets to the pros and continues to be successful. But so many college players, Dalton Connect, the Lakers acted like Dalton Connect was the ball boy on the team. They tried to trade him. Then when the trade didn't go through, they're like, well, we got Luka, so we don't need to play Dalton. So I'm like, you got to, it just hurts the game to me.
Yep. All right, well, that's all I got. The NBA is just going to have to straighten their act up, but they're not going to because they're making $76 billion starting next year. Yeah. So there's no incentive to do anything different.
Well, I mean, they're trying to make the regular season more relevant, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to. It is what it is.
The first thing they got
to play. I think the players, if you would give them the option to play 65 games instead of 72 games during the season, they would love it. Yeah. But they're never going to do that because of the amount of money.
Yeah. So they got to have this revenue.
Right. The owners will say, "We'll do that if you take pay cuts." Well, that ain't happening. They're the opposite of the NFL. The NFL is like, okay, you want more money? We'll play more games. By 10 years from now, they'll be playing 22 games this season.
22 games. Yeah.
So anyway.
All right. We're going to get out of here, folks. And remember, like and subscribe to this channel because we need a gazillion dollars because we need to purchase season tickets because they cost so much money nowadays. So we can play the LA LeBrons their full salary.
Hey, let me ask you one more thing. Yes. How many days until Kentucky basketball starts up again?
I don't know how many days, but the schedule comes out in August. And by the way, they have the best NIL recruiting class this year. Kentucky. And it only cost them about $18 million.
There you go.
There we go.
Learn from the best.
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully UNC will show up on the court. I don't know.
We'll see about that.
We'll see about that.
Yeah. So, all right, Bill.
So long, everybody.
So long, everybody.